Okay. And that had nothing to do with what I'm going to speak to you about today. All right. We're going to talk about strategies to sell homes quickly in a shift. And for those of you who would say we're not in a shift, okay, I understand. However, if you pay attention to the way the market is moving, inventory, for example, is growing, and it's still a seller's market. I'm not saying it's a buyer's market. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is there are fewer homes being sold. That's a shift. There are a lot fewer homes being sold. We sold 6.2 million homes in 2021. We are tracking 4.3 million for 2023. That's a lot less. That's a shift. And you've got more competition today for listings and for buyers than you ever have. And for example, in other words, there are more real estate agents in the United States today than there ever has been. Now, if you pay attention to the luxury market, for example, homes that are $1 million plus, what's the inventory on those homes? I bet you if you did a supply and demand analysis wherever you live, and we have people on this call anywhere from Miami to California, just do a search in your area based on price, okay? Pull $1 million plus. If you're in a market where $1 million is an average price, then don't use that. Use 3 or 4 million. But look at the luxury market. How many active listings are there? How many sold in the last 6 months? How many are selling every 30 days? What's the inventory? As soon as you get between 3 and 4 months of inventory, the market prior to that was doing this. It was going up. Everybody was happy. Everything was good. Then inventory starts to grow, and we're at this plateau right here. Now, as soon as you get to 3 or 4 months of inventory, watch. The market's going to do this. You're going to see values start to drop. Why? Simply because sellers are competing for buyers. Now, this is the kind of conversation you need to have with your clients, because they get their real estate information from the news and from the internet, and you're the local economist of choice. It's your job to educate them on the reality of the real estate market. All right, point number 1, study the market every day to master the science and skill of pricing. Study the market every day in order to master the science and skill of pricing. Pay attention, words matter. Master, not I understand it, I've got a pretty good grip. No, master. Master the science and skill of pricing. The most successful agents become masters of the skill and science of pricing. Page 138, shift. If you don't have this book, please get this book. All right, get this book and read it over and over again. The inside of your book should look like this. All right, and somebody commented to me, they're like, John, the whole page is highlighted. What's the point? Every time I read it, I highlighted it again. I didn't set out to highlight the whole page, but that's what ended up happening. Well, then it's all good information. You should read page 138 and 139 over and over and over again. All right, you are making an observation and a forecast. That is your job as a local real estate expert. You are making an observation. This is what I see. Forecast. This is where the market's going based on what I'm seeing. When you master the skill and science of pricing, then you're able to make a forecast based on what you're seeing. Most real estate agents don't even get close to this. Matter of fact, a lot of them are just as much in the dark as the sellers are. The forecast is a developed skill. The skill of forecasting is an inexact ability to predict market direction and speed. Market direction, okay, watch, market's going up, up, up. We hit 90 days of inventory, it flattens out and slowly grows to 120. Before you know it, it'll go from 120 to 180 days like that. And as soon as that happened, markets shift slowly and then suddenly. every single time. If you go back and look at the real estate market back in 2006, it was exactly what's happening today. The number of homes being sold decreased gradually and then suddenly, and everybody thinks prices started to drop. They didn't. Go back and study it again. It was 2008 before the prices started to drop. And then it was 2016 before homes were worth exactly what they were in 2008. All right, this is not gloom and doom. It's information. It's important for you to know. Pick a neighborhood or zip code and study the number of active listings, new pending sales, days on market for the active listings, pending sales, and solds. Look for trends. The path is in the math. Business is a math equation. Look for trends, study the math, and you'll see. And you'll be able to forecast based on what you're seeing. It's an observation. How does the days on market for active listings compare to the pending contracts? That's an interesting one. Look at active listings, days on market. Look at pending sales, days on market. I promise you, you're going to see a big difference. Okay? I promise you, you're going to see active listings, days on market, 90 days, for example. Pending sales, you're going to see average days on market, 30 days. Well, what did they know that the other people didn't know? Well, they got the price right to start. Now, look at those pending sales. How many of them had a price reduction? I bet you're going to find that most of them didn't. Look at the active listings. How many of them have had a price reduction? Most of them have. What's the days on market for solds? When a price reduction for solds with a price reduction versus those that got the price right the first time. What's the days on market for the properties that sold that had a price reduction versus those that got it right the first time? Again, you're going to see a big difference here. What's the average list price to sell price ratio of the homes that sold that had a price reduction versus those who got the price the right time? Again, I promise you, you're going to see a big difference. Without a price reduction, selling in less than 30 days, for example, for 98% of the asking price, of the original asking price. Now, days on market for a property that had a price reduction, 90 days, for example, and 94% of the original listing price. What's the message? Get the price right the first time. What's the seller going to say? We can always lower the price later. They go to script school, remember? And somebody could always make an offer. All right, you need to be able to answer those two because you're going to hear them. If you haven't heard them yet, they're coming. We could always lower the price later, or somebody could always make an offer. You need to have responses ready to go. Stories are even better. How is bedrooms, amenities, and location affecting demand? If you have a 3-bedroom home and it's in a large neighborhood, look at everything in there, okay? Active listings. I've got 18. Cool. Now, look for active listings just for 3-bedroom homes. Is there a difference? Can you see a trend? Does the neighborhood have a history of selling 4-bedroom homes very quickly, but it's a neighborhood that doesn't have high demand for 3-bedroom homes and definitely doesn't have high demand for 2-bedroom homes? So if you look at the entire neighborhood and you're using numbers for the entire neighborhood in order to predict where the market's going, you're going to get the wrong message. If you've got a property that's a 2-bedroom home that's in a neighborhood of mostly 4-bedroom homes, you need to do another search. You need to see what's happening with 2-bedroom homes in that neighborhood, but I promise you it's going to be a difference. What impact does new construction having on existing home sales? If you are selling a home and it is close to a development where they're building new homes, what impact is that going to have on you and the home you're selling? If you're selling a home for $500,000, for example, and the new construction neighborhood is a half mile down the road, and the prices start at $400,000, and the average price in that neighborhood is $500,000, and I'm a buyer, and I can buy a brand new $500,000 home, or I can buy your listing for $500,000. Which one am I going to buy? What impact does new construction have on selling the property that you're putting on the market? I promise you it does. People are willing to pay more for new construction than they are for resale. All right, what are buyers looking for? Location, updates, amenities. Those are the three things they're looking for: location, updates, amenities. Location. A property in a neighborhood that backs to a busy street is less desirable than a home that backs to the lake. Duh. All right. If you've got a property that you're putting on the market, pay attention to the location, because the location is going to have a big impact on your marketing of that property. It's going to have a big impact on pricing that property. What are the three things that buyers are looking for? Location, updates, and amenities. Pay attention. Where is the property located? If it backs to a lake, it's higher value. If it backs to another home, a little bit less than the home that backed to the lake. If it backs to a street, even less. Matter of fact, in a shifting market, one of the hardest homes to sell is a home that backs to a busy street. If there's a lot of inventory, I'm picking that home last. Now, what would be the only thing that would cause me to make an offer on that home that backs to a busy street when I've got more than 90 days of inventory, meaning I've got 18 properties that are available, 6 are selling every 30 days? Price. That's it. That's it. Now, what about price? It's got to be a bargain. It's got to be a big bargain. 10,000 ain't going to make a difference. 20,000 maybe. But if you look at two identical properties in the same neighborhood, one backs to another home, one backs to a busy street, they're identical. The one that backs to the busy street probably going to sell for $30,000, maybe $40,000 less. Now, you want to help your buyers, your sellers understand this. Talk to them about new construction. Ask them if they looked at just lots. I'm buying a lot to build on. Okay, is there a premium lot based on location? The answer is yes, there is. I'm just buying dirt, and this dirt costs more than that dirt, and it's the only difference is location. It does matter. All right, updates. If the property is, let's say, 20 years old, and I'm in a subdivision where everything is about 20 years old, the home that is most updated has the advantage over everybody else that is selling their home. If I'm a buyer, I'm looking for the best home based on updates. It's a beauty, can you believe I couldn't remember that? It's a beauty contest first, then it's a price war. I am looking for the most attractive home based on updates. My home wins the beauty contest. Now it's a price war. I'm looking for the best deal. Amenities, for example, what's the difference in homes selling with a pool versus homes without a pool? Well, it depends on where you live, right? In Asheville, North Carolina, it's probably not a big deal, right? No. Here in Palm Harbor, Florida, it's a big deal. All right. I've had people tell me before, seller script, but I don't like pools. That's their justification for not having a pool. So they don't think it matters because they don't like pools. They have one, they never go in it, but because they don't see the value in it, they don't think anybody else will see the value either. All right, the buyer of that home very likely is going to be someone who wants a pool. A home with a pool is just worth more money. It's more desirable. It's easier to sell when there's a lot of competition. And if you're selling a property that's in a certain price range, you kind of expect it to be there. If you're in an area where you expect to have pools, like Palm Harbor, Florida, it's like selling a $750,000 home in a neighborhood where 90% of the people have pools, 95% have pools, and you don't. It's like selling a luxury car with cloth seats. It's like, I wouldn't buy that. Duh. You expect it to be there. All right, with forecasting, what causes prices to drop? What signs should you look for? Where is the market going to be in 6 months? Best explanation that I have for this is when you're in a seller's market, buyers are competing for listings. All right. When you're in a seller's market and you've got 3 buyers for every 1 listing, prices are going up, up, up because buyers are bidding it up. Now, when you get into a market where there are more sellers than there are buyers, now sellers are competing for buyers. You've got 3 sellers for every 1 buyer. How does a seller win this competition? Daryl, you want to say it again?
Price once again.
There it is. Now, if I'm bidding for buyers, what am I doing? I'm lowering my price. So prices were going up. Now they're going down. Simple. All right. Use supply and demand to help sellers self-discover the right pond to go fishing in and fish with your bait in the water.
Now it's time for the fishing script, right?
That's it, buddy. You guys know me too well, right? All right. So I want you to literally draw. You're sitting at the kitchen table, right? You got a legal pad sitting there and you should have markers. All right. Markers make a lot more impact than pens do. Okay. You should have a legal pad in front of you. You should have markers. I literally just want you to draw 2 circles. And I want you to say, okay, this pond over here is 550 to 600. This pond over here is 600 to 650. 550 to 600, 600 to 650. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to find out which pond is better to go fishing in. In this 6 to 650, there are currently within a 3-mile radius of your home. There are currently 18 properties for sale. Here, I'll make it a low number so it's realistic because the market's still lacking inventory. There's 12 homes for sale. And 4 are selling every 30 days. That's pretty good. That's a 90-day supply of inventory. However, in order to sell your home, you've got to be one of the top 4 out of 12. Now, this pond over here, 550 to 600, there's also 12 homes for sale. The inventory is the same, but 6 are selling every 30 days. Now, you got to be one of the top 6 in order to sell. Which pond do you have a better chance of catching a fish? Well, 550 to 6. Correct. Now you got to fish with your bait in the water. If you hang your bait 3 foot above the water, it doesn't matter if you're in the right pond, you're still not catching any fish. Now, what does hanging your bait 3 feet out of water mean? Well, it means if the market says the right strategy to get your home sold is 575, and you list your property at 595. Properties are at 575 or lower are getting sold. Yours is sitting because you got your bait out of the water. The fish are down there at 575. You're up here at 595. You got the right house. You got the right bait. You just hung the bait 3 feet above the water, and you're not going to catch any fish until you get down there where the fish are. All right, guys, talk to me.